Hello there, and welcome to Dr. T for today, January the 4th, 2017. Doing good so far this year. See those New Year's resolutions? They actually come in handy. I was like, I'm gonna try getting the date right for once. And so far so good. Stage 1, going with the tanks. Now, I went after the shock launcher. The reason I do that is because that shock launcher is going to slow you down. Like, you could hug right and just, like, suck up the shocks on a few of your tanks and take down the HQ there, but it does have an obscene amount of hit points. If you're really low level, I suggest taking out the shock launcher first. Moving on to stage 2. Now, I threw critters down over there on the right-hand side. I just realized that with the greatly sped up routing and whatnot, it's a little harder to see, but the path that those critters are taking over there is the path you actually want to take. Go around the right-hand side, go along the top. They kind of veered off because, well, they're critters and they won't follow flares, but you want to send your troops up there. You are going to have to deal with the shock launcher, but with all of the free GBE you just picked up, you should be able to blow up that shock launcher, and you're going to be able to outrange the boom cannon, so you don't even have to worry about that. Then you can move on to stage 3. Sorry, it's a lot of words. So, at least one barrage on that boom cannon, because it's going to take out all the boom mines along with it, even if you have to throw a couple artillery afterwards. Obviously, if you do have to throw the artillery, make sure you split it with the sniper tower, because if you can take that all out together, that is preferred. And then you can set up shop right here beside the minefield. The one sniper tower will be pecking away at you, and will have range, so you can blow it up, you can shock it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, but ultimately from there you should be able to get your stage 3 and move on to stage 4. More words, less time. So stage 4, I decided, you know what, this is awesome. This level is like the perfect level for the Grens. So if you set up your Grens right there, exactly where I got my Grens sitting, what happens is they start targeting that machine gun and they overthrow into the insane cannon. Because, yes, okay, I showed, like, you know, oh yeah, that between 7 and 12k, there's boom cannons, but this freaking regular cannon, which I didn't really post stats for, and I think I kind of should have, has like 23,000 hit points. It is ridiculous, and it still does like 1,400 damage per second, which I think is more than the boom cannons actually were doing. So, like, that cannon really is insane. But if you're rocking the Grens, you can take it out without it shooting a single shot. Like, if you're to take it out with tanks, it would take a little longer. You might have to burn through a couple of shocks depending on the level of your tanks and whatnot. But like with the Grens, they just sit there and they just keep tossing and keep tossing and keep tossing, and eventually the thing falls. You know, as long as you got enough time. What I might suggest is, if you're gonna do the Grens, maybe keep like one boat of Zookas and just keep it in reserve, because when you get up to the HQ here, if you really need to, you can drop that load of Zookas, run it up the right hand side. That should be relatively clear after the Grens get through there, and you'll be able to take out the HQ with the Zookas, you know, just if time is a thing. Then we can move on to stage number 5. And stage 5 is where things start getting pretty intense. Once again, like, go left hand side. I did drop the tanks, so we're back to the good old-fashioned tanks. It just, 4 was so perfect for Grens, and the fact that, like, especially for a 4 to go through a 23,000 hit point cannon, I feel like that, like, people who are at that level, that would be like, that would be some work. Like, that would take some serious effort. So just kind of an aside, if you would. Now, with the tanks going up the left-hand side, everything is cool, but you're gonna have to be careful. And where stage 5, because obviously you can see there's only like 3 buildings you even really need to go through to get up to the HQ. But where 5 really gets sneaky is the fact that it has over 400,000 hit points. So once you get down into the bottom corner right there where I flared, you're gonna have a nice, clean, easy takedown of the HQ. You might want to either like flare your cannons or your tanks onto the sniper tower to take it out, or use some GBE or whatever to kind of clear out that one sniper tower. Just because it will do some damage, it'll peck away. It actually just got my one medic while I was not paying attention and slowly trying to, kill it. But if you take that out from that corner, you're going to be good. The problem is, because it's got 400,000 hit points, again, you might want to keep a boat of Zookas in reserve somewhere, just because that's a crazy amount of hit points. And if you are, roughly in that location, I'm pretty sure you can land the Zookas, get them up in between the tanks and the HQ, and you just have to shock that one little cluster behind the HQ that I shocked. Now we're moving on to stage 6, where actually the HP dropped significantly on the HQ. But I was like, hey, you know what? This is another great opportunity to let the Grens shine. So there's all of these machine guns and flamethrowers and all of this tank food over on the left-hand side. The problem being, there is this crazy shock launcher that also is residing there and will just grind your tanks to an absolute halt. As you can see, it's already doing it with the grenadiers, because it's just like, it's tossing those shocks out, and it absolutely brutal. So while your Grens are down there enjoying the relative safety of just having a shock launcher fire at them, you can go up, you can blow up the boom cannon, because we gotta clear out the boom cannons, like, obvi. This is just sort of like, one of those things. Everybody knows it's got to be done, whether you want to do it or not, like going to the dentist or something. And then once you land, you're like kind of clear up the free GBE, go up into the top corner, like land your tanks, and then go up into the top corner, obviously, and continue using said GBE that you have now gathered up to take out the second boom cannon, which is right next to the HQ. Which, be careful, because that one right next to the HQ is the one with 18,000 hit points. It's a slightly higher level than the others, so you're gonna have to work at it. You're probably gonna want all of that GBE you just farmed up, so that you can actually take that mofo out. And then, basically, from the top left corner there, you're following like the buildings around. It should naturally guide your troops into this sort of arrangement, which is perfect, because it's going to have all of your tanks sitting just in front of all of your grenadiers, and they're just going to bomb the crud out of everything. The grenadiers start, softening everything up for 3 rows back, while the tanks sort of sweep in and finish them off. I did notice that the shock launcher down there in the south started to kind of reach up and cause problems with my tanks, because I let them spread a lot. But if you keep it nice and tight right up at the very top, you can actually outrange that shock launcher, as you can see right here. And also what's kind of nice is, if you are in roughly this distance, it increases your accuracy on the HQ, so you're going to get more damage on that bad boy from your grenadiers. But also, the grenadiers are still going to clear out all the defenses that are even reasonably close to being around that HQ. So you'll continue to build GBE, which is good, because then you can throw some shocks over on the rocket launchers and hopefully make life a little easier on your medics if you've got like slightly lower level medics. And then we can move on to stage 7. So many words. I'm getting lightheaded here, I tell you. It's a thing. So stage 7 is nasty. Look at that. It is just a great big block of why. So yes, be careful. Also, it has like 240% boost for health, so like everything has a mountain of health. It's insane. And what's I think the saving grace is this little 3-pack, because the little 3-pack there, she gotta go. so that the 2 shock launchers and the 1 boom cannon, it's all bad. And then from there, you can start drifting out there. Be mindful of the boom cannon in the very corner. It's over there, you can see it. But this boom cannon has to go first, and it's kind of a clear what you have the GBE for, and then worry about the rest later. So you're going to want to keep enough GBE on the landing for a shock. I actually bungled my shock, as you can see there. You can throw that shock and get the boom cannon and the sniper towers all in the 1 shock, but, well, my skills evade me, and so I messed up the landing a little bit, but that's okay, because, you know, the tanks will, if you land them directly in front of the boom cannon, at least like I did, they'll take that out. And then the grenadiers just kind of stand there, just chucking away. That's grenadier chucking, not... Anyways, so... yeah, the grenadiers will just kind of start clearing a halo around that landing spot, and eventually your tanks will cinch up, or inch up, just enough that they're ahead of the grenadiers, and then you're pretty much safe after that. At most, you should only have to throw maybe like 1 or 2 medkits while you're in that landing formation where everything's clumped up, just because your Grens are going to take hits with your tanks from things with AoE damage, like, oh, I don't know, rocket launchers or machine guns, for example. So then, once the immediate danger is done, start working your way towards the left, obviously, because that's where the HQ is. That's where you're going to ultimately want to go. And on the right-hand side there, you can see the boom cannon that turned towards my troops. Be very careful of that boom cannon. There is a small little gap in between the edge of the map and the outside range of that boom cannon. You can fully skip it if you're careful, but you have to be careful or it is going to do bad things. And as you can see, it's like it's turning constantly with my troops. Like it you know, it's just on the edge. That cannon can taste it. Well, technically boom cannon, but whatever. The boom cannon can taste it. It just wants a piece, just a piece. Fortunately, it only got the 1 grenadier, so not that big of a piece. Still kind of sucks, but I can live with it. Anyways, so as you work your way up into the left, because you've already cleared out a whole bunch of stuff, once you get into the corner, you should be pretty safe. And then what's really nice is the overthrow from the grenadiers is going to start popping all kinds of buildings in behind the HQ, and ultimately you can probably, you know, inch up a little bit closer to help improve the accuracy, which you're going to want to do, because as you'll notice from looking up at the time there, the time starts to get pretty tight. Anyways, as you can tell, this is going to be a nice easy one. You're going to get some fat loots, and you're going to be able to do the happy I killed Dr. T dance. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully it's been entertaining, and most importantly, hopefully you guys have a fantastic day.